Hi everyone, welcome back to Good or Good Enough. So I finally saw The Naked Gun, and here is my little review. So the plot for this film is pretty straightforward. On IMDb it says only one man has the particular set of skills to lead police squad and save the world. The overall point of this film is it's a very simple film, but it's more for the jokes. There is a bad guy who steals something like a plot device, and Frank Drebin has to basically go and figure out, what's going on, who's behind it, and then crazy jokes and humor and situations ensue. A quick summary for The Naked Gun is that it's PG-13. It's an hour and 25 minutes, which is very surprising. The movie itself is like an hour and 12 minutes actually, or 1 hour and 15 minutes. It does have some really cool credits at the end, so definitely stick around for those all the way to the end, all the way to the last minute. See, the film itself is like 1 hour and 15 minutes. It has long credits. Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson, Paul Walter Hauser are really hilarious. We would have seen more of him in the Fantastic Four film as Mole Man, but they cut a lot of his sequences out. This is a very simple story. It's very straightforward. It's just basically a vehicle for the humor that is just really carried by Liam Neeson. With the help of a few side cameos, unlike Happy Gilmore 2, it's not a cameo fest. This film is absolutely hilarious. Every single second, every moment is a joke. There's a few moments where it is serious and it does, pause for a moment, but overall the entire film is just joke after joke after joke. There's a running coffee joke throughout the movie. If you're familiar with the Scary Movie films, it's just like that, just weird stuff happening. I think this film is going to have incredible replay value. I think you're going to be able to watch this over and over again and always discover something new. Besides enjoying it again and getting to really enjoy the short run time, I think this will have replay value because it's kind of more on the short and sweet side in a way, and as well as getting to the point. The wording of the dialogue is very incredible at times. The specific words, how the sentences are structured, how they're recited, it all really works together very well. I liked also there's not that many cameos. It's good that they didn't rely on that part. There's after credit scenes, of course, like I was saying, stay for all of it. Then you realize it's only been an hour and 25 minutes with the credits. So I definitely recommend this film. And we'll now get into spoilers for The Naked Gun. So basically at the beginning of it, they do establish there's a thing called a plot device, a literal plot device for the film. This guy goes in and steals it, and basically Frank Drebin has to figure out who's behind it. So after a crazy adventure, they go through a bunch of stuff. Frank Drebin has been pushed out of the police squad. They've closed it down. He doesn't look good. He can't figure out what's going on. So finally, towards the end, Drebin captures Kane's henchman Gustafsson and frightens him into confessing to Kane's plan to activate the plot device at the New Year's ball drop at an MMA match. They definitely parodied the UFC fights. Then says Drebin heads to the match at the PonziScheme.com arena equipped with an earpiece that blocks the plot device inside the New Year's balls. He loses his pants at the balls dropping, decently exposing himself to the entire audience, leading them to not respect his order to evacuate. The plot device activates and mindless violence erupts throughout the entire city. This thing is supposed to make everybody resort to their barbarian nature. Very straightforward. Okay, so basically at the end of the film, Drebin has captured Kane's henchman Gustafsson and frightens him into confessing to Kane's plan to activate the plot device at the New Year's ball drop at an MMA fight, which is spoofing the UFC. Really hilarious. They have these two people there from the actual UFC. They even have Bruce Buffer there as well. So they both arrive. They have the earpieces in their ears so that they don't get affected by the plot device, turning everybody into barbarians. So after a little bit, Frank Drebin has managed to get himself up to the New York balls, while Ed is undercover with a beer stand. Really hilarious. Frank Drebin accidentally turns on and activates the balls, and it lowers, and then his pants drop, and decently exposing everybody to his genitals. Then a bunch of jokes happen and everything. And then, so he finally gets out of there, and then he tries to get everybody to evacuate, and they won't listen. And he finally comes face to face with this guy, where he actually goes on to activate it, which is a very cool effect. And then they see that it is starting to work. Everybody starts to go crazy and act like barbarians and all that. So everybody starts fighting. The hilarious scenes. Ed kicks him really far and stuff. She shows up. Then the Kane tries to leave, leading to a very funny scene, and then he makes them all attack Frank Drebin himself. So everybody starts to go after him, and he has a hilarious scene involving magazine throwing. So he launches them at them. Really hilarious sequence. Possibly John Wick-like, I'm not sure, but very entertaining. And then with the help of an owl, who is apparently Frank Drebin, his dad, as in the sign of an owl, poops on the guy, on Kane, and gets him to crash, and then it leads to a big confrontation between them. Then he does a joke thing, but teases us in it for a second. And then it turns out Frank had paid him just for a joke, whatever. They have their confrontation, and then Frank goes in for a punch, and the punch is too much for Kane, so he kind of whimpers out, and then they have another talk, whatever, and then the guy tries to leave, but doesn't really work. He goes up, hits himself in the head on the lamp, whatever, and then is there. And then Frank goes in for the arrest, and the guy loses. And then has a really nice scene with Beth, who basically wants to kill him and get revenge, but Frank talks to her in a jokey and serious way about, revenge isn't good, whatever. Really nice. It's serious, but it's really funny at the same time. Really good, really nice work. So he basically talks her out of it, and then she activates the thing back, calms everybody down, and then they get together in the end. And then that's it. And that's pretty. And in the movie, it's very simple and straightforward, but man, it is so funny. It is so hilarious the entire time. Joke after joke. My favorite moments from The Naked Gun. The first one, I would have to say, has got to be the intro. Literally, the entire movie would have to be in this list. But we don't have time for all of that, so I'm going to do some of these, and we're going to miss a lot of them. This is the first one, though. A total Mission Impossible joke. I mean, just so funny. And then he does a big fight scene with them. And then all the guns are made out of some prop stuff, so he ends up crushing them and biting them and stuff. Hilarious. Throughout the film, and he's driving, he hits a bicycler that flies over the car. Crazy. And then Leslie Nielsen does make his sort of cameo in the movie. It's pretty awesome that they did that. They do O.J. Simpson and a few of the other characters. Here's the O.J. Simpson joke that they give him credit later on, but for the movie, they make a funny joke about it. This part's pretty hilarious. Also, the guy is clearly asking if the victim is drunk, and there was a drunk driver, and Frank replies with, yes, a little, but just to feel better or something. He's admitting to being drunk. So hilarious. This part's funny when they have them remove the car. It turns into a big claw game. There's another joke here with a running coffee gag. They keep getting new coffees and throwing the old ones out. That moment does happen here when she takes a coffee and they hand him two bigger coffees. Crazy. And then this part too, he's looking in there thinking it's a lady. He opens it and then it's a thing of a clothes hanger, whatever. One of the jokes too is Frank tells her to have a seat or take a chair, and then she ends up deciding to actually take that chair and leaves with it. This part's hilarious. Another joke. Frank Drebin goes to the event and he throws the thing onto the waiter with the drinks, grabs a tip jar and starts drinking it, and just continues walking like nothing happened. This is a funny joke. He touches something and then it breaks, and everybody's like, what happened? And he doesn't notice, whatever. Insane. This scene is pretty trippy and funny. The Kane has Frank, or they shake hands, and then Frank decides to leave, walks to the right, and then walks back in on the left side. It's trippy, very trippy humor. Very hilarious. Another scene is this when they're testing out the electric car that Kane has donated to the LAPD department. Funny stuff ensues during that sequence. Rips all the stuff out, and then a bunch of prisoners end up escaping. And then some guy who's like clinically, like mentally insane, like a Hannibal Lecter type of guy. And he's just free. Oh my god, dude. It's just insane. And then Busta Rhymes, okay? Busta Rhymes gets his own cameo in the movie. Looking good, by the way. They do this body cam footage sequence where they go through Frank's body cam, and then his day just gets increasingly weirder until, you know, he does finally get the answer that he wants, is that this guy was there at the robbery. This part is so weird. Okay, he grabs him, he's interrogating the bartender, and kind of slams his face, and his face keeps changing every time. Like, it's clearly kind of someone else. It's like, what? Just clever humor. I have never seen like some of these jokes. And again, lots of jokes that I'm missing. I'm only showing some. There's plenty more. Beth has a jazz sequence while Frank is fighting these guys in the back after he's trying to get some footage or something. Fights this guy, rips his arms off, and ends up beating him with them. And then tricks him into the nuts. Like, crazy. And this part 2 is really funny. He starts fighting everyone, and then he has them like in a line. I think that's a callback to the Past Naked Gun film. And then his boss calls him and basically has him like in the room just to talk to him. And then they do this thing where they have to whisper and not wake up the husband. This part is pretty dirty and adult, and I'm very surprised it made it into the movie. It looks like other things are going on, but nothing is really going on. This is a pretty graphic scene, and I am very surprised it's in this movie. Watch. She does it again. Jeez, I can't. This is PG-13, by the way. There's some hardcore jokes. Then the dog is there, then he gets all confused thinking that, you know, other stuff is going on. I mean, jeez. And then it's just like crazy. The filming of that must have been insane. This part's really hilarious. They take some time off or something. They go bonding. They do a bunch of weird stuff. They find a spell book, okay? I can't even believe this movie goes there. I guess it obviously would. They literally make a spirit and have the snowman become like a sentient being. And then it leads to some weird stuff, like and he's making snow cones, whatever. And then the snowman becomes jealous of them, and he sabotages the inhaler that Frank uses. The snowman ends up going crazy and then attacking them. And then Frank tries to go for his inhaler, and it turns out that the snowman was behind it, until Beth saves Frank by cutting off the snowman's head with a sword, and then that sequence is pretty much over. Like, what in the world? I mean, I can't even believe this in this movie. Seth MacFarlane, by the way, had something to do with this movie. He produced it, and if you saw Ted or Ted 2, the humor in that is very similar to this. So it's kind of like Scary Movie, the concept of Scary Movie, but also kind of like the Family Guy kind of weird humor that Seth MacFarlane can do in live action. This scene is pretty hilarious. Frank is being controlled, the car is being controlled by the bad guy, and he tries to get out of the vehicle, so he smashes the glass, and then he manages to break it out. A clown gets the balloon stuck in there, and then a thing of bees had already gone by, and then a new windshield for the car is there, and it goes right back on, resetting Frank's situation. And then after the department becomes shut down, we see Ed is in front of it and it's a Spirit Halloween. Like, immediately turns to a Spirit Halloween. And this is probably one of the most insane jokes in the movie. This is a triple or double or triple joke. Like a joke on top of a joke. This is the scene where Frank interrogates this guy, okay? And then he finally gets him to admit the answer. And really hilarious how he makes him feel bad, whatever. He gets the answer and then whispers, "Did you get that?" And then the whole set is revealed to be fake and that they were just using him to get the answer. This is a parody of Mission Impossible Fallout, a direct one, but here they do it in their style and they do it again. They do it twice. They do it back to him. Like, I mean, it's insane. And guess what? It doesn't stop there. He does it to her. And it turns out that it's the scene from Now You See Me Too or whatever, whichever one. And it happens a third time. Insanely funny. I cannot believe they did that. Here's another scene. This is a funny one. The PonziScheme.com arena. And this is funny too. The guy crashes into the title. There's a joke here with this guy who's like having a side issue with his wife not answering his phone and he thinks he's having like an affair or something. This guy, Ed, opens up a free beer bar or a beer bar to be undercover and he doesn't know what else to do. So he says, "Oh, we're closed. And he says, "Fine, we're free. It's a free beer stand." He gives him free beer and he leaves. And a few minutes later, we see that Ed is doing it again. But this time, like, he's being bugged, so he's giving everybody a free beer just to get him to leave. This part's funny, too. I can't believe they did this. He ends up, like, punching Bruce Buffer and actually they actually have a little mini fight. Not too long, I guess, just probably one hit. Like, hilarious. This part's funny, too. Kane is out there with the bad guy, with his buddies, and they all try to leave, and they don't know how to drive their motorcycle, so they end up crashing all over. This part is really hilarious also. Totally fun action sequence. Super awesome. Like, just takes the movie to a whole new level. But he ends up using his magazines and starts hitting them at everybody. I don't know why. I guess he doesn't want to kill them. So he tries to find a creative way using the magazine to hit them. And he just keeps doing all of these moves and things with them. The bullet and the tooth flies into the bullet. He shoots the tooth back into the guy's mouth. Like, I really do like it could have been more violent, but they took it to such a cartoony route. Like, all of this, what? Beyond hilarious. Super funny. And the cool part is, like, early in the film, he asks for someone to have, like, his dad show him a sign or something, and it turns out this owl is the sign. So in this part, the owl is the dad, and he basically helps him out. And he comes in flying with the owl, and the owl was so adorable. How they filmed him, how they filmed his part. This part is pretty interesting. They're at some event, and then the background pauses. I'm assuming they're around green screen or the volume or something on a set, and the entire background pauses. And then you notice that Beth's dress is blowing in the wind, and it turns out that they're both not they're actually holding still and trying not to move. Very hilarious. Then they realize, like, what's going on, and then he goes and gets super fourth wall breaky and presses into the camera, does that, and then he ends up punching the camera. And then we get the classic intro from the Naked Gun 1 as the outro for this. And they drive it everywhere, just all over. And that's it on the favorite moments. There's way more. I only showed some of them. There's a ton more. And then I didn't show the one during the credits, but it's an audio one. It's really funny. Frank is in a rehearsal studio trying to figure out how to use a microphone and play some instruments. The final after credit scene at the end is the Weird Al joke he shows up at the Doomsday Bunker and is finding out that he's going to perform to no one. So I don't think there was anything that I would fix with this film. I thought it was really hilarious. Maybe make it longer, but because I thought movies had to be like an hour and 30 minutes. So I guess it can be a little less than that. Other than that, I mean, I wouldn't change anything in this movie, really. It was pretty funny. I don't think it needs a more complex plot. That's not the point of it. People are going to give it bad reviews because, oh, it's dumb and stupid, even though the point that is the point. But it's clever. And then how did it look? I thought this film looked fine. It's not a heavy Marvel type of a movie, so it doesn't need to look whatever. It has some definitely nice filming in this. Like, has great moments in it for sure. So yeah, the picture's fine. It's very crisp. You know, it looks fine. No crazy camera movements really, but definitely utilizes the camera for what it is. And the film sounded great. The really great sound design, good music choices, a lot of music. Like the Black Eyed Peas is a band that's featured in the movie. And now for my final thoughts. Not many, just it's really funny. It's a very fast film, gets to the point. Again, hilarious. Layered jokes, double jokes, triple jokes. And Liam Neeson is quite good in this role. I'm very impressed. He can definitely carry himself. I mean, obviously, he has, he's his own actor and has his own series of films, but he can carry himself even in a funny movie and really play the deadpan humor very well. Like having that being serious and then saying funny stuff without making it look out of place. Pretty awesome. So I definitely recommend this movie. And again, to recite my summary for it, it is PG-13. It's 1 hour and 25 minutes. Very surprising, but it's more like an hour and 15 minutes. The film itself is an hour and 14 minutes. Long credits. Stay for them. Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson, Paul Walter Hauser are all very good in their roles. This film is absolutely hilarious. There's a joke every single second with the exception of a few serious moments, so it's not pointless. I think this movie will have a super high replay value. Incredibly written dialogue. Nicely worded sentences. Not many cameos, which is a good thing because they didn't have to rely on that. Like, for example, Happy Gilmore 2. After the credits, there's stuff. Stay for the credits. I definitely recommend this movie. You could bring maybe your kids. I don't know if you want them to see those two scenes that I showed you, but it's like a context scene or whatever. So after all that, I say that The Naked Gun is good. And that wraps up this review of The Naked Gun. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment down below about what you're watching or looking forward to watching, and I'll see you in the next review.